If you're a sports fan, make sure you go check out SportsCastr for all of your sports needs. Whether you're a football fan, basketball fan, or baseball fan, this app is the perfect way to get news for your team and is an app I personally use myself in case any of you guys want to check out my pregame, halftime, or postgame streams. I'll leave a link in the description below. What is up, Pats Nation? It's Patriots Global back here with another video, and as I'm sure most of you know by now, the New England Patriots have placed fullback James Devlin on the injured reserve, basically clearing up a roster spot in which I'll get to in a second. This also means that you have three key players on the injured reserve. So kind of how does this all pan out? Those three players will be in a separate video, but nonetheless, James Devlin placed on IR. Now, for those of you who do not know, James Devlin suffered a neck injury in the Week 2 game versus the Miami Dolphins. I even didn't know that it was as serious as this. I was surprised hearing that they put him on the injured reserve, but obviously they are taking caution with him, and they definitely don't want to waste any roster time with this injury because he could be out for some time, although he is reportedly week to week. He missed the games versus the Jets, which essentially was why the New England Patriots decided to bring up tight end / fullback Jacob Johnson. A lot of us know who he is. He was a guy that they had on the practice squad. Didn't do too bad. Originally from Germany. I'll make a whole video on him also, but that's the guy essentially who's going to be taking James Devlin's spot. So a little bit more about Devlin's injury. He's dealing with a muscle and disc issue in his neck, which also goes to his upper back area. He got it checked out by multiple doctors trying to get multiple different opinions, and it is not believed to be serious, and he definitely has that potential to come back later in the season. So my expectation is that James Devlin should be healthy, but do the Patriots decide to bring him back? Guys, let's remember you can only bring back two players from the injured reserve a whole season. The big thing, of course, again here to note is that they want to take it easy with James Devlin. James Devlin is 31 years old. Okay, he's getting older. Who knows how much time he has left to play, and he is really a key guy to this Patriots team. Of course, more specifically, this Patriots offense. Now, as for how long is he going to miss, for anybody that isn't sure how the injured reserve worked, basically a player will have to spend 8 weeks on the injured reserve. They have to spend 6 weeks on the injured reserve, and then those 2 weeks, they're actually able to return back to practice. But they have to get back into conditioning and practice before, again, they're able to go and they're playing that final game. So it will be a total of 8 weeks. So if the New England Patriots decide to bring James Devlin back right when he can, then we're talking about James Devlin being able to play in the Week 12 game versus the Dallas Cowboys. Keep in mind, though, that would be the earliest he would be able to play in another game. Again, the biggest thing to note here is that James Devlin is either going to be activated at some point this season, in which the Patriots will only have one other IR decision to make for the rest of the guys on injured reserve, that being Isaiah Wynn, N'Keal Harry, and really any other guys that get placed on it for the rest of the season. If he does not get picked up in the middle of the season or at some point in this season from the injured reserve, this means that his season is over. So if at some point we see the Patriots bring back two players that are already on the injured reserve, and let's just say that that guy is not James Devlin, well then right there you can take out James Devlin coming back because they would have had brought two players back. But currently they have not brought any players back from the injured reserve, so they're still able to bring two back. A big thing to note here, though, is the fact that the New England Patriots actually now have an open roster spot because they placed James Devlin on the injured reserve. Big question here is, what are they going to decide to do with this open roster spot? For anybody wondering, didn't Jacob Johnson get that role? No, because they actually activated Jacob Johnson from the practice squad to the active roster before actually putting James Devlin on the injured reserve. So without a doubt, you guys can 100% expect a signing within the next couple of days. I wouldn't be surprised if the New England Patriots do it as early as tomorrow, that being Tuesday. You might get this video on Tuesday. just because they want the guy to come in and hopefully be able to contribute in some way in the game versus the Buffalo Bills. But again, that's all depending on the position they bring in and who the guy is. And look, let's not even downplay this. This is a huge hit to the New England Patriots and their offense. And their offense, it's already taken a big hit in a lot of different ways. Okay, we've already lost Antonio Brown. You have Isaiah Wynn on the injured reserve. You have David Andrews, your center, your star offensive lineman, your leader of the offensive line. He's out for the entire season. So right now, 2 out of your 5 offensive linemen are backups, and the Patriots are dealing with injuries wide receiver-wise. Now, this is also not going to help the New England Patriots running game at all. And that is not promising for a team that within the first 3 weeks has struggled very, very visibly. And James Devlin really is a big piece to that, especially for guys like Sony Michel. When James Devlin is on the field and being a lead blocker for Sony Michel, Michel visibly and statistically does a lot better. And with David Andrews being gone, Sony Michel running up the middle is already going to have issues. Now you're subtracting the fact that James Devlin isn't going to be there, and it's going to get a lot more tough for Sony Michel. Now, we have been talking about how the Patriots running game has not been good. This is something that we all thought was going to be the star piece of the team for this upcoming season. That's what we've been talking about all offseason, the stacked running back core, how great Sony Michel is going to be, and it is not showcasing. And if we're going to be honest, let's look at the teams that we played in the first 3 weeks, that being the Jets, the Bills, the Dolphins, the Steelers, whose defense isn't terrible, but they have not been able to establish a run game, and the Pats are going to really face a lot better teams as the season progresses. Okay, the Dallas Cowboys, the Baltimore Ravens, the Philadelphia Eagles. And if we can't get a running game going against these mediocre teams, I can only imagine how it is going to fare up when we're playing these better teams. Not only will it affect New England's running game, though, it's also going to affect the pass game. Okay, look, James Devlin is not only a lead back. He's not just a guy that you give the ball to just pound it in the red zone for a touchdown. He's a big guy that serves as a very big blocker for Tom Brady, whether that's play action or whether that's just a regular shotgun pass or just a quick slant, or whether he's waiting to throw a 50-yard bomb down the field on a go route. Again, I state that the New England Patriots offensive line is already struggling, especially with the injuries up at front, with guys constantly moving in and out and moving from left tackle to right tackle and from left guard to left tackle and right tackle. And it's visibly just a very crazy situation right now and for the past 3 weeks for this New England Patriots offensive line. And James Devlin was a guy that really served a very good, purposeful block for Tom Brady and helping keep him safe. But that is it for today's video. A little bit of a longer one. Definitely wasn't expecting it to be this long, but wanted to go in depth on the James Devlin being placed on IR, what it means, a little bit about IR, what we do going forward, and how this affects the team. I hope you guys liked this video, and I hope that it informed you and helped you understand a lot more going forward. If it did, please make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, as I promise you a lot more videos are on their way. And also like this video, as it seriously helps me in the production of more videos going forward. Also, make sure you guys share this video with everybody you know so we can grow the Page's global family. And other than that, I will catch you guys in another video.